Hi, and welcome back to It's Not Rocket Science 5 questions over coffee. I have in my hand what is left of a mug of coffee. It's not quite as full as it was earlier on today, but I want to welcome Steve Feld. Steve is a business coach who works with a range of different organizations, range of different businesses. And I think we're going to get into some interesting conversations about the sort of thing he's trying to do at the moment to help businesses move forward in what we can all describe, I guess, as some interesting times. So, Steve, welcome to It's Not Rocket Science, 5 questions over coffee. I hope you're ready for an interesting few questions, and I hope you too are well fueled up.
I am well fueled up. My blood type is coffee, so I am ready for you.
Terrific. Steve, let's start with the sort of the business owner, the business that you're trying to help. What's the problem that you often see? And I know we're likely to have a lot of common problems, but one of the more common ones that you see when you start to engage with those businesses.
Absolutely. Since I work primarily with small business owners, entrepreneurs, the biggest thing I see is they really don't know who their target market is.
Mm,
And
mm,
that starts affecting everything else. And they wonder why their messaging isn't working, why their elevator pitch isn't working, why nothing's working. It's because you're trying to be everything to everyone.
yeah,
And reality
yeah,
is you're nothing to everyone because they don't
yeah.
get you.
It's common, isn't it, that so many people desperately don't want to exclude somebody. But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is that by being targeted and very specific, you will attract other people anyway, because it
Mhm.
sounds as if you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's like putting the red rope up, right? Get Books Solid. You put the red rope up, you only let the people you want in. Guess what? People now want to be in, so they're going to form a line outside. That's what you want.
Yeah, and so often as well as small business owners, I come across they very rarely actually do their level best to actually screen, and they end up being sort of open to too many people and unable to help the people who really need it.
It's so true. And it's the messaging too. It's like, as consumers, we're all the same. If it,
Mm.
let's say if you don't eat fast food, so if there's a fast food commercial on, you zone it out because you're not their target market. And they know that.
So
So
Steve, so Steve, what do you find these business owners have done in the past to try and help themselves before they get somebody like you in to sort of really help them to refine their pitch and refine their offering so that it becomes targeted at a particular niche person?
absolutely. I mean, the first thing I always tell them is like, well, if you have customers now, let's see who they are. Let's look at their
Yeah,
demographics,
yeah.
psychographics. And I did that with one of my clients. He thought his market was, XYZ. And when we looked at his clientele, it was ABC. He changed his marketing and he found out that people still went with him because they liked him. They
Mm, mm,
ignored his
mm.
message. I mean, it happened in one of my businesses. I'm wondering, I was targeting financial planners, CPAs, and then one day I woke up, realizing I'm booked to the gills with clients, and not one of them was my target market. And so I asked my clients, like, why did you go with me? They go, we just ignored CPA. Everything else in your message really spoke to me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got rid of it.
It's surprising, isn't it? That so often we look at these things as sort of that it's gonna hurt me, but in actual fact, it absolutely never hurts you, does it?
No. If your message is still in the ballpark, it's okay. You're gonna be all right. But getting it on home plate, you're gonna knock it out of the park all the time. And I
Yeah,
see that
terrific.
with entrepreneurs when I ask them, so what do you do? And they go on and on. Well, we're all the same. We all zone out. But if it's crystal clear, here's who hires me. Here's my market. Here are their problems. Here's how I solve them. Guess what? You have my attention, even if I am not your market.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, I think you've got some really valuable advice that you can give to the audience at the moment that helps focus in on this. And I've got a link, I believe, that you're going to do to help us out with. So tell us a little bit about what this valuable free piece of advice is that you have.
Yeah, it was my very first book. I've written 9 others since then, but it's 8 simple marketing strategies that you can put in your business right away without spending money. Because since I know my market, it's like they're getting beaten up like you're supposed to buy Google ads, you're supposed to buy all this. No, let's hone in on your messaging, get it crystal clear, implement just one or two of these marketing strategies at a time, and really start seeing some massive results fast.
Now, that sounds like a valuable free piece of advice, and I'm really glad that you've done that, Steve. So if we go to bizcoachsteve.com/100 code, so that's bizcoachsteve.com/100k, and that link will be in the show notes. There's a valuable, very valuable piece of advice for you, a free book that will help you to put that into your business. So, Steve, what other that you said there are 9 books in your repertoire? What was the thing that actually brought you to being a coach with this very simple, specific, really useful message for people?
Well, I've been there, done it. I mean, unfortunately, I've had highs and lows. I've owned and operated 7 businesses and turned now my 4th one around. I learned the good things and the bad things. And one of the things I learned from being around other business owners is make sure your messaging is spot on. Really know who your target market was. Because I started like everyone else. I actually started writing business plans for tech startups. So it was very, very niche. And I didn't do business plans for anyone else but tech startups. And I was swamped. I had a waiting list. So then I started expanding out. And that's when I realized stay in your lane, and everything got better.
Okay. It's back to that simple. You know who you help, you know how you help them, and you know who those people are. You can definitely sort of, when you start explaining the things that you can do, you definitely find yourself in a position where those other people see the advice you can give. But by knowing exactly how you help somebody, you can reach out and help them, can't you? I often say to people that are, small business owners who are very afraid of selling, they'll say they say, well, I don't really like selling myself. And I can often turn around and say, well, stop thinking of it as being somebody that sells anything. Just think of being somebody who's very helpful. And you just know how you help and why you help them. And people will pay you for the privilege of helping them. And that's all you need to do.
You're 100% spot on. I always call it sell without selling.
Yeah.
Serve first. What can I do for
Yeah.
you? And watch the results versus we've all been to these networking events where someone is hawking, I call it hawking your junk, because you want to build a connection. But if I can come to you and say, hey, Stuart, is there something you need, someone I can connect you with, some kind of resource I can provide you that's going to help you in your business? I don't want anything in return. What can I do for you? I think it's more valuable than buy my junk.
That's a really brilliant piece of advice. Steve, I guess I've asked you some interesting questions. I guess you've thought that I probably asked you the wrong questions. So here's my opportunity to throw over to you. There must be one question that you would like me to ask, or one question you would like me to have already asked, that is going to help people to sort of really understand what your message is here. So what's that one question that you want me to ask? And obviously, once you've asked it, you're going to have to answer it for us as well. So tell us, what's the question that I needed to have asked?
One thing I see with entrepreneurs is when they start a business or even have an existing business, it's what can I do to get myself out there? And out there is marketing, their name recognition. And one of the biggest things I see, it depends on the industry too. So if I can go to networking events, maybe like insurance or something like that, that's the way they build their network. That's how they get out there. But there's other ways too, because you could be the expert in something. We're all experts in something. Use it, your expertise. Get on a stage, get on a podcast, get on a summit, share your knowledge, write a book. I kid you not, I used to have a publishing company. I was a co-founder of it, and we had a publishing company for entrepreneurs. So we wrote their book, and it was all done in less than 1 week.
Wow.
So now they become a published author. They're an authoritative figure, and they can give this book away as a marketing piece. And we saw these businesses skyrocket just by telling their story.
It sounds so simple. It sounds so simple, but it's
And
not that easy to execute, is it?
because being, business owners, you have a laundry list of things to do, and
Yeah,
I'll get to that one day. Well, if
yeah,
you have
yeah.
someone, there's plenty of people like me out there that can help you. All they have to do is sit down with you. I swear to God, in 1 hour, you're going to see massive results, and you're going to start taking action right away. Guess what? It's going to be done before you blink.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. I think the most important piece of advice that I was given many years ago when I first started with my business career was somebody sat me down and said, remember, if you can achieve the one thing that moves your business forward today before 11 o'clock, the rest of the day is free for you because you've already done the massive action. If you leave it until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you've wasted the whole day. So get it done. Get the one thing you know you've got to get done that day. Get it done, and everything else is a bonus. If there's one thing I've taken away from it, it is sit down and do that one thing, which actually moves the business forward, and get it done.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's, eat that frog. Get that big, audacious goal out of the way. All the others will fall into place, and you're going to love it.
Brilliant. Steve, I think this has been a brilliant discussion. I hope everybody takes you up on the offer of getting that book, and I hope that they understand the focus that you've given them. I'd just like to point you in the direction of the newsletter we produce, which is we send out a newsletter once a week, which basically says who's coming up on the podcast, so you can really tune in on the valuable advice these great podcast guests we have. So if you would like to just know exactly who's coming up in the next week, go to this link, which is link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. That's link.thecompleteapproach.co.uk/newsletter. That's just the HTTP thing before that. And you will get a newsletter. It just says once a week, basically, who's coming up, what their speciality is, and just come and join us on LinkedIn and YouTube and the other places that we broadcast this, so that you can see exactly the sort of valuable advice people like Steve bring to you, and you can move your business forward by doing that one thing and being really focused. Steve, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. Really appreciate you bringing that clarity, that focus, and that message so simply and so directly to what we've been talking about.
Well, thank you for having me. And I just hope everyone out there find that one thing in your business, take action on it, and live your dreams, achieve your dreams and your goals.
I love that. Thank you very much indeed, Steve.
Thank you.